Annunciationis classis Latina, capitula secundum Familia Romana. Oratio, precatio incipiens. In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. So, what are we going to do tonight? Well, we're going to do the news and notes. I'm going to mention the nice exhibit at the Houston Museum of Fine Arts, where one of our students works. I want to briefly review adjectives. And
Michael,
yes,
I think you're on the wrong page.
I was curious. You know what? I am. How'd that happen? Curious. Uh, okay, one of the shares went away. Very strange. And of course, it always goes to the other page. There we go. Let's try that again. uh, anyway, I want to briefly review adjectives since there was a couple of things that people I thought were misunderstanding. Then we'll go into the Familia Romana, the capitulum secundum, and then we'll see how far we get. But I thought I'd mention the Houston Museum of Fine Arts has the art and life in Imperial Rome and Trajan in his times, and it's from November through January. Now, Trajan was the emperor from 98 to 117 AD. He was actually a very good emperor. He was built a lot of monuments, was pretty generous, and he was a very successful soldier emperor. And in fact, under Trajan, the Roman Empire was at its greatest limits. Not very friendly to Christians either, however, but he wasn't the worst. Trajan considered Christianity as a crime worthy of death, so that's not exactly friendly. But on the other hand, he forbade a search for Christians and the acceptance of anonymous denunciations. So that's actually good news, meaning he didn't expect his government officials to go around searching for them. And if somebody whispered in their ear, oh, so and so might be a Christian, then that didn't count. But where it was clear that a person adhered to Christianity, uh, then the punishment of death was to follow. We have two of the most distinguished martyrs the two most distinguished martyrs under Trajan were Ignatius of Antioch, Bishop of Antioch. And if you've ever read his letters, they are very revealing. And if you haven't read his letters, you should. In English, there's English translations. And then one I'm not as familiar with, and that's Simeon, Bishop of Jerusalem. I don't know that much about him. You'll have to look him up. So anyway, that's something to put on your calendar as wander over there one of these days. So with that, repetitio est mater studiorum. So adjectivi, adjectives. Now, to remind everybody what an adjective is. It's something that modifies, describes a noun. So, the red book, the big book, the little book, etc. Red, big, little being adjectives describing what the book is. Latin adjectives must agree in genus, numerus, and casus, namely kind, number, and case. With just the noun they modify. Okay. So insula magna, insula parva. I stole all this from the last set of slides. It does not mean that um, they have to agree with the nouns they don't modify. So, for example, Britannia non est oppidum magnum. Well, magnum goes with oppidum, all right, not Britannia. Okay. So magnum does not have to agree with Britannia. It has to agree with oppidum. Renus non insula parva, sed fluvius magnus. So fluvius is masculine. The magnus has to agree with it. The insula is feminine, so the parva has to agree with the insula. Doesn't agree with Renus, okay? The only time we would say this is, okay, if you'd say something like, oh, let's say you could say Britannia. Whoops, let me paste that. Oops, can I paste? Yeah, oh well. Britannia est magna, meaning Britain is big. In that case, the adjective refers back to Britannia. So in that case, they do agree, but it's the adjective that is tied back to the noun that it is describing. Any questions on that? Connor, I saw your microphone pop on briefly. Was that you just turned it on, or did you have a question? I assume that's not a question. All right. So now before we jump into the next chapter, there is you get one last shot. Well, not last. Whoops, sorry. You don't get it, not last, but one last shot at asking questions about the last chapter. Anything in it you find puzzling, confusing, mysterious, etc. And feel free to ask.
Michael,
Yes.
um, just kind of some general questions. One of the things that we went over from the beginning is the subject of macrons.
Yes.
And, what I've noticed, and you may have pointed this out in class, of course, I missed a couple of classes,
Right.
that there are words that are in the first declension that in the nominative there is no macron on the letter A at the end of the word in
Right.
the nominative case, but in the ablative there is.
Right.
Is that pretty standard that you could expect that there's going to be a long vowel at the end of a first declension verb um, in the ablative case?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, the word Europa, um,
Let's see where did I put this. There it is. Nope. Yeah, there it is. Go
yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
every time the word Europa was used, it was used in Europa.
In Europa,
Yeah,
yes.
so I was curious as to what the nominative of it is, and there is no macron
Right.
on the last A, and
Right.
so that tells you that Europa, the A in the nominative is short; it's not long.
Yeah, and from a practical standpoint, there's almost no way to distinguish the two when you're speaking and listening. Ideally, it should be Europa versus
It should take
Europa.
a short,
Yeah,
a longer period to say the A.
yeah. And if you're speaking quickly, it's like, oh, this one was 3 milliseconds longer, type thing. So, but yes, that is correct.
Okay. Another thing that I found curious in the companion, it, it uses as examples for the long and the short O in the pronunciation. They use the word post as being a short O. And then I I went online to get a pronunciation, and it sure sounded like the O was the same. And maybe it's just a slight difference as
No,
the
the short O is as in pot.
right. But the way it was pronounced online, I understand that. That's a clear difference between O like Monet or something.
Yeah.
But the way they just pronounced the word post was not post but post, which sounded like an awful lot like the O in Bonet.
Ooh, let's see. Now that's a good question. Does the
So
Latin
in the
post?
yeah, this is hard to describe because this is in the companion I'm talking about, but they used post as an example of a short vowel O, which it just
Bad choice.
it seems like a bad choice.
Uh, yeah, is there, because in English it's a long O. Yeah,
Well, sure. Yeah.
post. Post office. Hmm. I'll have to look that one up.
It's I can give you the page number in the companion. It's XVII, so that's 17,
Okay.
and it has pronunciation of vowels, and it says that the short O as in hot, and then it says POST, the Latin word post. It also has MODO, and that's pretty clear. That's motto. I
Oh, I wonder if, okay, okay.
But then they
I
have the
I
long
think
O as in bone or pono.
right. I think what they mean is post, P-O-S-T in Latin is a short O.
Well, it when it's pronounced online, it's pronounced post. When I went to a Latin,
Online in
yes, when I
what?
went, it was.
Where online?
Oh, it may have been Google. I can't remember where I went.
Okay. Well, we will listen very carefully to tonight's um,
I just I
YouTube.
was curious about that, but I mean, as long as we
Yeah,
know it's the
it's
ah,
yeah, the short
ah,
O is the hot or
right,
pot
right.
law. The long O is like our long O, domino, like the pizza place, etc. So, yeah, I'll have to look that up to see if I can glean what they're trying to say there. Um, so
And just
curious.
one last
Sure.
question about accent, just to repeat what I'm sure you've said before, just want to make sure. The accent is when you're dealing with two syllables, it's pretty easy. It's on the first syllable. But
Right.
when you're dealing with three or more, the accent is on the penultimate syllable if that syllable is long, like Europa or Romana.
Right.
But uh, if the penultimate syllable is short, then it's on the what they call the ante-penult
Right.
or
The
the
syllable
second,
before the second
the
syllable.
syllable before the second. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like oppidum
Oppidum. Yeah. The
and
accent is on
tusculum
the op.
and tusculum.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
yes. Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why in a lot of the liturgical books of recent, and I say recent, I mean in the last 100 years, put the accent marks in there because long and short vowels were not always clearly delineated. And so if somebody was reciting the Latin and they weren't familiar with it, they would not necessarily know where the accent went. Um, that is prior to, say, 1900, they were very rarely used. I'm not going to say they were never used, but it'd be very unusual to see them. So it's really because of the decrease in Latin scholarship is they've been added back in, but they are useful for us. So yes.
One final question, and it has to do with this chapter. Um, the use of the words servus and ancilla.
Uh-huh.
Um, my recollection from times past is that they're really two different. I mean, aside from the fact that servus applies to a male and ancilla refers to a
Tell you
female.
what, can we hold off on that one when we
Okay,
start
sure.
reading?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of stuff in there, and remind me in case I forget.
Okay, I'm sure you'll probably get to it and explain what I was going to.
I have a short memory.
Okay, sure.
I like to think of myself as a fireman. I'm running around putting out the biggest fire that's nearest to me,
Yep.
and sometimes forget about the other stuff. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? All good questions. There are no stupid questions, just stupid answers. No?
I
Okay.
was told my students that the stupid questions are the ones you don't ask.
Oh, hey, yes. I suddenly realized what they were saying. Yes, the stupid questions are the ones you don't ask. Ooh, good one. I like that. Thank you. Meaning, if you really don't understand something, please ask. We're building and building and building on this. In fact, I sent out chapter one, and I don't know what, 30 words maybe. Well, chapter two has another 30 words, and we're adding in something called the genitive or the possessive. So, if it's kind of like building a big skyscraper. If you don't get the foundation and the first floor right, well, then the second floor isn't going to be better, and the third floor, and eventually the whole thing will collapse. So, by all means, ask. Oh, and I see Francis is here. I don't know if you saw the plug I put in for the Houston Museum of Fine Arts. So anyway,
I have a bit of a question. Can you hear me?
yes,
Okay, I was sorry. I was messing with my trying to mess with my mic settings earlier, so I just wanted to make sure everything's all right. Okay.
yeah, I saw it briefly pop on, and I heard like uh, and then it went away.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. I was just
Okay,
trying to mess with my
no,
settings.
that's fine. That's fine. That means I know you're alive. Okay, so any other questions from last time? Because we're ready to jump into chapter two. Otherwise, no. Okay, chapter two. All right. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, sorry. Mo. There it is. Um, let's listen a little bit. Let's see. Are there any short O's in here? I wanted to see. No, well, okay. Well, I don't want to get into that one. All right. Well, let's go to the print. Let's go to the to this one. All right. The Familia Romana. Couple of comments first. You'd be very tempted to translate that as the Roman family. And that's not inaccurate, by the way. That's actually a good translation. Um, but in the time period this story occurs, the familia was just not the nuclear family like we have today. It would have included the servants and the handmaidens, and we'll get to those in a minute, and any of the slaves as well. So whoever was under the authority of the pater familias, or the father of the family, or the head of the household. And in some cases, that would be the mater familiae, the mother of the family. Women did have women's who husband died or they inherited or whatever. They would have had servants and slaves as well, the rich ones anyway. So let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, let's just get started though. And then as these things pop up, I will mention it. Not necessarily. Okay, Teresa says the entire household would convert if the master converted to Christianity. Yes and no. You have to understand that baptism is something that you must receive willingly, okay? Well, okay, they probably would, but they didn't have to, is what I'm saying. And if you go back in the Bible and you read of the centurion and you read of somebody else, I forgot now, it does say the whole household converted. We don't know why everybody converted. Did they do it out of respect for the master? Was it the Holy Spirit? We don't know. So be a little bit careful about applying that as a strict rule. Anyway, who wants to read? Let's go for the first section here. Tell you what, Connor, let's test out your microphone.
All right. Julius vir Romanus est. Emilia femina Romana est. Marcus est puer Romanus. Quintus quoque puer Romanus est. Julia est puella Romana.
Good. So we have now several. Julius est vir Romanus. Emilia est femina Romana. Vir femina. Shouldn't take a lot of genius to figure out man, woman. Puer. Marcus est puer et Quintus est puer. Julia filia est. So, filius, filia, son's daughter. Okay? Any questions there? And we'll get to this bunch here in a minute. Okay. Next section. Any takers?
I'll take it while I can keep my eyes open.
Okay.
I got a lot of wind yesterday and the sun today, so they're like burning.
I know
Okay.
you said you were out gardening. It was a
Yeah,
beautiful
I'm
day
deconstructing my garden.
Yeah.
All right. Marcus et Quintus non veri, sed pueri sunt. Viri sunt Julius et Medus et Tavus.
Let me
And
there we go. Show that so we can see these guys. There we go. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
cast of characters.
Yeah.
Emilia et Delia et Sira sunt feminae. Esne feminae Julia, non femina, sed parva puella est Julia.
Very good. So Besides Julius, Marcus, Quintus, Julia, and Aemilia, we have Sira, Delia, Davus, and Medus. And these would be the household servants. They would be slaves at this period in time. Well, they wouldn't have to be, but they were more than likely they would be slaves. And so sometimes in liturgical Latin, you'll see servus translated as servants. I mean, yes, we are servants of the Lord. We're not slaves of the Lord. So there's a little bit of wiggle room as to what that means.
But even if you had been a slave and were given your freedom by your master, you would still be a servant attached to the
Yes.
household.
Yes, yes. Unless that master died and you were given, oh shoot, what's the word? Not munition. Shoot. That's
Separation.
I'm trying to find the button, manumission.
manumission. Thank you. That's it. Yes. Anyway, so vir, femina, puer, duo, pueri, two sons, una filia, one daughter. So unus vir, one man, duo viri, vel tres viri, uno, duo, tres. So singular is vir, plural is viri. And we're going to learn that vir is indeed part of that second declension. It has all the same endings. The difference, however, is it doesn't have a US on it. So if it did, then it would be a virus, and I refuse to be called a virus. So just keep that in mind. We're learning, we're expanding that second declension a bit. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just that the US is missing from the nominative case. So viri is the plural. Viro would be the ablative, and we're going to learn more about it here in a minute. Let's see what else. Let's see. Did I use the quoque yet? No, they
In the
haven't.
next section.
Yeah, next section. All right. Well, I will. All right, I'll spoil it. Let's see here. Marcus filius Emiliae est. And this is where we have the possessive. Literally, Marcus is the son of Aemilia. Quintus, quoque filius Julii et Aemiliae. Quintus is also the son of Julius and Aemilia. Quoque means two or also. Oh, but we don't have the enclitic yet. Oh, there it is, medusque. You can also, besides saying Delia et medus, you can say Delia medusque. So you put a que on the end, and it also means and. So let's have some brave soul volunteer for that long section.
I'll volunteer.
Okay.
Julius, Aemilia, Marcus, Quintus, Julia, Sira, Davus, Delia, Medusque, sunt familia Romana. Julius pater est, Aemilia est mater. Julius pater Marci et Quinti est. Julius pater Juliae quoque est. Aemilia est mater Marci et Quinti et Juliae. Marcus filius Julii est. Marcus filius Aemiliae est. Quintus quoque filius Julii et Aemiliae est. Julia est filia Julii et Aemiliae.
A lot of e's in there. Hard to say. So,
Yeah, it's the I. It's
yeah,
hard to get that I in.
yeah. Well, you don't see it much in English. So, Julius est pater, Emilia est mater. Marcus est filius, Quintus est filius, et Julia est filia.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there any reason why mater has the macron and the pater doesn't? Or is it just a quirk of the language?
Oh, let me look that up. You know, I've never thought about it. That's why I teach Latin, is so I can think about these. Huh, interesting. Yes, the A is long in mater, but it is short in pater. And is there a reason for it? Well, you'll have to hop in your time machine and go back when they invented the language. There may be a reason for it. That's really where you get into I guess it's linguistics, how sounds evolve and such.
So if I could chime in, language can be arbitrary too.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason.
Or the rhyme and reason is long lost. All of the above. So,
Michael?
yeah.
I wonder if it has something to do with just the way they pronounced the word. In other words, having just a slight longer A in mater than they do the A in pater.
Possibly. Don't know.
I mean, sometimes you 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 do the macrons according to the way you pronounce the words.
Yep.
So however it was that they pronounced it, maybe somebody figured out that it made more sense to put the macron over the mater than over the pater.
I had this flash of some little kid crying for his mommy. Mater, mater, and yet
Yeah,
the dad is going to
sure.
be more abrupt.
Who knows?
Potter, yes, sir. Oh, yes, Potter, I'll do that.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, so pater, mater, filius, filius, filia. And now for these guys, these are, as I said, the servants. They are considered part of the Familia Romana. They are an important part of the Familia Romana, and I mean the Roman family of the 1st and 2nd century. So, okay. Let's see here. Any questions so far?
And culturally, there's something subtle that you can see here. One of the things will tell you that the family is wealthy because it's not unusual for a Roman family. We're talking about if they're in the aristocracy, which we don't actually really know here. Not yet, I don't think. Anyway, if you're wealthy, you can have a couple of daughters. They're useful because when you marry them, you can make political alliances, but you have to provide each daughter you have to provide a dowry for. And but the more sons you have, the more you have to divide your money to provide for them. Let's say if you wanted them to have them in order to enter the Senate, there is a minimum financial requirement. I forget how many. It's like a couple of million sesterces, I think. And so if you have 2 sons or you have 3 sons, it becomes, unless you're really wealthy, it becomes difficult to provide for each one. So you get a hint here with the 3 children that they're at least moderately wealthy.
Yeah, later on you'll find out that Julius has 100 slaves, so he's pretty well off. In fact, later on in really later chapters, you learn more about Julius and Emilia. But I don't want to give anything away. It'll keep you interested. Let's see, where was I? Oh, okay. Oh, wow, this is a long one. Tell you what, I'll do the long one, unless somebody wants to volunteer for this one.
How can I do it?
Go ahead. It goes down to there. Let's see, can I highlight all that? Yeah, no, it's not going to highlight well. Go ahead.
Quiz es Marcus.
Hold on. Say that first word again.
Quiz.
Quiz, short I.
Quiz es Marcus. Marcus pues Romanus est. Quis pater Marci est. Ilius pater Marci est. Que es mater Marci. Mater
Marci,
Marci.
not Marci, Marci.
Mater Marci est
Yes.
Emilia. Que est Julia. Julia es puer Romana. Que mater Julia est Emilia. Mater Julia est. Mater Julia est Ilius. Julia filia Ilio est. O Ili est. Qui sunt filii lui. Filii Ilui sunt Marcus et Quintus. Marcus, Quintus, Iliuque sunt tres Liberi. Liberi sunt filiaque. Marcus et Quintus et Julia sunt Liberi. Iuli et Emilia. In familia Julia sunt tres Liberi. Duo filii et una filia.
Very good. A lot of mouthful in there. Okay, a couple things. Quis. Quis est Marcus? Marcus puer Romanus est. So we now have who. So if I said quis est, who is that or who is it? And the default who is quis. Now, if you know that it is a female, then you will should use que. Que est mater Marci. Well, even back in Roman times, they knew that it was females that bore young. I'm not sure if they know that today. I think we may have lost that knowledge. So, que est mater Marci? Mater Marci est Emilia. Que est Julia? Who is Julia? Julia est puella Romana. So we have quis, que, and then we have one more, qui. Qui sunt filii Julii. This is the plural, okay? Easy to remember because it ends in I as the plural, masculine plurals end in I, okay? So qui sunt filii Julii, who are Julius's sons. By the way, you can translate this as the sons of Julius or Julius's sons. Doesn't matter. Either way. And by the way, those two words can go in any order in Latin. Doesn't matter. Let's see what else. And then we have liberi, children. In familia Julii sunt tres liberi, duo filii et una filia.
Michael, may I make a quick suggestion?
Sure.
I find it useful when we're looking at the genitive to use the of the whatever instead of, you know, like when you were talking about numerus servorum, it's the number of servants.
Yeah.
So that helps me keep it straight, just for people who, you know, are just coming in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
Michael?
Yeah.
A question. Qui is the plural of
yes.
the masculine plural. What is the plural of quae the same thing, or what is the
Oh, you
plural?
like Quay Sunt, well, she's only got one daughter, so we're kind of out of luck. Uh, oh, but she has multiple hand servants. Yeah. Quae sunt ancile Ameliae. Yes, the plural of quae is quae.
Okay,
So
it doesn't change. Okay.
actually, let me double check that. I may be wrong. Give me just a second. I have a feeling I put the table to give me just
Yeah,
a second.
in the
Say
companion,
it isn't so.
Yeah.
yeah, in the companion, they don't give you the plural of it. So I was curious.
Well, look at it here. Okay. Let me look up quis in my handy dandy. And declension. I'm sure it's quay. Yep, it's quay.
Okay.
Yeah, quay. Yeah,
And
there we go.
one other thing, at some point, it might be helpful to distinguish the liber from liberi.
Let's not get to that yet.
I just said at some point. I didn't say now.
Yeah, as Alex is pointing out, there are two words in Latin that are very close. Whoops, where did my... Oh, great. Where'd it go? See, Zoom likes to make my stuff vanish. There. Oh, good grief. All right, hold on. Chat. Where's the chat? Oh, there it is. That is very annoying. My little chat window and participants window vanish. The problem is that's how I control the microphone. Anyway, yeah. There is the liber, which is a book, and then there's the liberi, which are children. And when we get to the books, I will put together a little paragraph that will probably hurt your brain, but it will be
Yeah, I'm
just
already thinking about a tongue twister about the children's books.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The
Anyway.
interesting thing about liberi is that it's one of those few words that is always in the plural.
Um, well, liberi is, but you
Yes,
can
but
you can have a single liber,
children.
yeah, as in child.
Yeah, but we're distinguished liberi from liber. And liber has the singular and the plural. Liberi is only in the plural.
Yes. Not sure I follow because you can have unus liber. Maybe I'm missing something.
You're talking about a book.
Yeah, and you can have one book for that matter. So maybe, oh, I see what you're saying. Never mind. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll get to that. All right, that is the end of section 1. And let's see, how long is section 2? Can we get through section 2? Whoa, where? All right, I missed it. They always hide those little Roman numerals. There's 2. Ah, there it is. Okay. All right, let's do that. Let's go through this second section, and then we will talk about some of the grammar. Anyway, but before we do, any questions? Please ask questions. That way I know you're not sleeping. I guess you're all sleeping. Anyway. All right. I'll do the second one, or this next one. Esne medus filius Julii? Medus filius Julii non est. Medus est servus Julii. Julius Dominus medi est. Julius Dominus servi est. Davus quoque servus est. Medus et Davus duo servi sunt. Julius est Dominus medi et Davi. Julius Dominus servorum est et pater liberorum. All right. So we have servus, servant, slave, and medus is a male slave, so you would use the word servus. Sira, which we'll use and we'll see in the next section, is ancilla, but you could say sira serva est. Sira is a female slave. Now, by function, Sira and Delia are essentially the personal servants of Emilia, okay? So the proper term is ancilla, or handmaiden. Davus and Medus are the personal servants of Julius. And so I can see, do we really have a good English term for the male personal servants?
Valet.
Valet, yeah, that could, okay, that'll work. Although these guys do more than just valet. We'll find that they do a lot of heavy labor as well. And so Sierra, for example, you'll find out helps around the house, raising the kids, taking care of them. I've forgotten what all of what Dahlia does. So now, Dominus. I mentioned this last time. When we see Dominus, Domine, Domino, Domini, etc. in the liturgy, it's almost always translated as Lord. And that's because the meaning of the word Dominus means master. Well, in English, historically, your master was called a lord, Lord so-and-so. And so it is a good translation for Dominus, but it does mean master. And in fact, you will see some translations of scripture that use the word master in place. So keep in mind that Dominus with no capital D means master, and Dominus with the capital D, at least in liturgical books, refers to the Lord. Now, it can refer to God the Father or God the Son. You will see it used in both places. No, you will also see it in God the Holy Spirit. You'll see the word Dominus occasionally. So don't think when you see Dominus, immediately think of Jesus. It's a pious thought, but Julius here is not Jesus by any stretch of the imagination. So even though he is a pretty good guy. Any questions?
Just one comment. It uses that word domina there. I may have mentioned to you before that.
Did I miss it? Oh, not yet. We haven't done that section.
Oh, okay.
But since you asked it anyway.
No, I was just going to make a comment. There's a church.
Dominus is the masculine form of master, and domina is the feminine form of master, which we might say mistress, although unfortunately mistress today has a different meaning. But yes, Emilia, while Julius is the pater familias, the head of the house, Emilia is the domina familiae, the lady master or mistress of the house. And she is historically, she would be in charge of all the servants that would be doing household tasks, such as the cooks, the cleaning, and various other things. So it was a very, she didn't sit there and look lovely. I mean, she had as the domina, you had a set of functions that would have been very important, really much like today in many cases. So,
Well, I was just trying to make a comment that there's a church that we attended mass at out in West Texas, and on the outside of the church, it had the words Domina Nostra Mater Misericordiae, which I thought was great.
yes. Well, and in fact, Notre Dame, which is usually translated as Our Lady, comes from the Nostra Domina, as in our lady. I mean,
Yeah,
lady master. There we go.
yeah.
So yes, Mary is often referred to as Domina.
Now, Domina Nostra.
So yeah.
The family dynamic reminds me of Downton Abbey, if anybody has seen that, where the servants have a lower status, but and they work, but they're still part of the family.
Yep. Yes. I haven't seen it, but I would expect so. That's something that's not just the Roman era, but continued on. So, all right. Any questions? Remember, you're going to get hit up with homework, so better ask them now. Let's see, how much more do we have here? Where'd 3 go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, let's do to the end of the page here. So, how about Ariana? How about you do the next section? I'll just go down my list here.
Okay, it was highlighted?
Yes.
Okay. Est ne Delia filia Ameliae?
Mhm.
Delia non est filia Ameliae. Delia ancile Ameliae est. Amelia domina Deliae est. Amelia domina ancile est. Sira quoque ancilla est. Delia et Syria due ancile sunt. Emilia domina ancillarum est.
Yes. Very good. Has anybody heard the term ancilla domini? And if you've been in this class before, you can't answer, which means Alex, Connor, Francis, my
I
wife.
won't say
Nice.
Luke in the gospel.
You won't say Luke. Yeah, no, this is for others. Ancilla domini. Ancilla domini.
I won't say chapter 38.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Handmaiden of the Lord. Ancilla is a handmaid, okay? And the reason that the term handmaid is, okay, they were maids, female servants, slaves, and they were always at hand to help out the mater familia. Sorry, the mater familiae, plural, or I mean possessive. The mother of the family. So Mary's title is Ancilla Domini.
Question.
Yes.
In the Old Testament, when Abraham and Sarah couldn't have a child, she gave her handmaid to Abraham so that he could have lineage. Now, is that also, I'm imagining they didn't do that in the Roman families, but is that another aspect of being a handmaid of the Lord?
Um, well, they didn't do that. Well, okay. It's entirely possible that the Roman master could fool around with a female slave. Um, human nature is human nature. Um,
For the
as I like
specific
to as I,
purpose
as I like to
of
put it, there
providing
was
a
only
lineage.
one original sin, and all the others that follow you know, are copycats, so to speak, just different ways.
I
Um,
just got the impression that was a standard practice, so that the male, so that there would be a lineage in the family to give an
well,
inheritance
okay,
to.
In the Roman family, that absolutely would not have been the case
yes,
because
exactly.
depending on the time period, somewhere around the end of the Republic and the beginning of the Empire, there were actually there'd been a lot of problems about the not having enough children. A lot of this had to do with the development of a lot of fundia, where a wealthy person would buy up a bunch of farming land, kick off the farmers, and run the farm as a collective with slaves. And or in the case of the Roman army, where all the farmers were off, getting killed for Rome and not staying home and having children. So there were very strict requirements, and for instance, your if a father had a child with a slave, that child would during all the time would have been a slave.
Slave, yeah.
And so yeah, it would not have helped.
Yeah, and in fact, Julius Caesar was not childless, but he was sonless. And so he adopted Octavius Caesar, which was his nephew.
Actually, he was his great nephew.
Actually, great nephew. Yeah, you're right. You had to go
Yeah.
up and over. Yeah.
And adoption
And
at the time would have been the other solution. They did not think anything of, a childless couple or a couple with no son would adopt a son, generally someone on the order of like a teenager who was healthy and intelligent and and was a second or a third son. The family would make an arrangement with a wealthy family who would basically pay them an enormous amount of money and would have acquired a new son.
Yep.
So you didn't get extra children with your slaves, you got them from other patricians. We're assuming you're, of some form of nobility. Was through adoptions was very common.
Yep. And that solved a couple problems in that if you had, for lack of a better term, extra sons, as it was alluded to, you had to divide your estate up amongst your children. And so if you had three sons, you might send one son into the military, which was a good way to advance. And the third, we'll pretend this is a third son for a moment. You might have your third son adopted, and that would by a childless couple, and that would help, with the right of secession. So no, I'm unaware of anything that, but getting back to Teresa's question, um, I don't know. Well, keep in mind that the Bible, the Old Testament spans, good heavens, what? Maybe let's say 2,000 years. I don't think it's quite that long. I've forgotten now. Discounting creation for the moment. Uh,
I thought Old Testament was closer to 4 or 5,000, but we'll have to look it up.
well, no, I think was Abraham? Oh, well, actually, maybe. Let's see, Moses. Well, yeah, I'll have to look it up. Anyway, The point I'm making is it spans a long time. And Abraham would have had multiple wives. David had multiple wives, for example. The practice of multiple wives died along the way someplace. You'd have to look it up in the history books or the so I don't think it was all that common. There's probably more to it than that. So I would recommend you might pick up the commentary by shoot, what's his name? Oh well, anyway.
The concept of the handmaid being the one that was allowed to sleep with the master in order to provide an heir. When you think of Jesus Christ as the heir of God, that's where I'm kind of making that connection.
No, no,
No?
no,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
And you can see this in their naming convention. For instance, after Julius Caesar's death, in his will, he adopts Octavian, who is his great nephew, and
Right.
he becomes Julius Caesar Octavianus.
Right.
And what that means is the inus ending indicates you have been adopted into by Julius Caesar, but you retained your Octavianus because it told where you were adopted from.
Right.
So you can't, if you adopt a slave, you still have a slave. You can't, you would not be a son. So the son that you adopted would have come from the best family that you were able to adopt from, and would retain at the end that little bit of a name that would tell everybody where you came from.
Yes. And by the way, Octavian is perhaps better known as Augustus Caesar, but Augustus was given to him much, much later because he was one of the greatest Roman emperors. He was the first, actually, for that matter. So anyway, let's get back to Latin, though. Question? Okay. We got about half an hour left. All right, let me do something here. Yeah, all right. Now that we've sort of gotten some of this under our belt, I want the people that have not been in this class to tell me what they observed in this chapter. Isn't that a tough question?
Well, the thing that pops up to me the most is the genitive,
Right.
which is obvious. And yeah, there's one example, I think we just did it, where it's the same ending for the genitive as for the plural nominative.
That is correct.
Yeah, so that can be confusing.
Well, yes and no.
Arbitrariness.
If I say sons, how many males am I talking about? Let me go ahead and put this in here.
Filii.
If I just
Be
say
two or more.
sons, that would be Fili, F-I-L-I, Filii. But I could also say sons, and that would be Filii. So even in English, we have the same ending. And I'm talking about the nouns that end in S. or sorry, the nouns that form their plural with S. So we can have sons, meaning filii, meaning plural sons, or we can have sons, meaning the possessive form. And in English, we can also have sons, the possessive form.
I was about to say of the plural.
Yeah, so take your pick. Now, in this case, it's filiorum. So Latin actually distinguishes between the singular possessive and the plural. And there was a filiorum snuck in there. Oh, liberorum. Okay. So we did see briefly the plural form hiding in there. So yeah, you're kind of right. It can be a problem. You have to pay attention to context
Context, yeah.
and is very important. And you have something, let's do DAUGHT, daughter. So that was philia, whoop, philia, sorry, long I. Wait, philia, there we go. Anyway, and then you can have daughters, which are filiae, possessive. Okay. Oop, I should have done that in a different order. Let me do it the same. Daughters, filiae, daughters possessive, filiae, and then daughters plural is whoops, filiarum. Yeah, filiarum. So while the endings are not identical in the first two declensions, there is a similarity in the endings, and that's the best way to help memorize them and get them to stick, or one of the ways. So yeah, if I just said filiae, you wouldn't know if I'm talking about my daughters or something my daughter possessed. And so you would have to be sensitive to context. Anything else observed?
Also, there's no definite articles in Latin, which is
I
amazing.
was waiting for somebody to notice that. Thank you.
It makes it so much easier. Why do we have them?
Yes, there is no
Or
the
indefinite, or a either, right?
or a in Latin. Okay. So if we go back, oh, Marcus est puer Romanus. In English, we would probably say Marcus is a Roman boy. And the reason we would use a is because that's a class of things, Roman boys, okay? Quintus quoque puer Romanus. Quintus is also a Roman boy. And Julia est puella Romana. Julia is a Roman girl. So in each case, we would have a. Julius pater Marci et Quinti est. In English, Julius is the father of Marcus and Quintus. No A's, no these. Now, there is a way in Latin for them to distinguish and this is many chapters away, to distinguish if between the versus a general item. And in fact, there's ways of distinguishing what you're talking about that don't exist in English. So I'm not going to get into it yet, okay? But other than the fact that there is no the or a as such in Latin. So thank you. Anything else? Do this. There we go. Anything you noticed, Najib, Ariana, Ethan, Melissa? Anybody? Vince? No? Okay. Well, when you read through this, really pay attention to what is going on because you'll see things. Any questions on what we read as far as meaning? Let's start with that. Yes? No? Everybody understood it perfectly, right? So if I were to pop it up there, you could read the Latin and immediately translate it into English, right?
The filii filique, I didn't get that. That means and.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Let me mention that. Thank you. Actually, that's a good thing to mention.
And then you could put it on.
QUE,
You could put on a name as well.
yeah,
Yeah, that kind of threw me.
is another way to say and. So we could say Marcus. Whoops, if I could type the C right. Marcus Quintus Que. That would be Marcus and Quintus. Okay. And Robert reminded me of something. In the Creed, we have qui ex patre filioque, who proceeds from the Father and the Son. So you learned filius, and you now know que. You don't necessarily know what X is, although it's probably pretty easy to figure out. So pater et filioque, Father and Son. And we'll get to some more of these as we learn some more words. So let's see here.
Michael,
Oh, yeah.
just a quick question. And I know you don't like to get ahead, but in the next paragraph, the word centum comes up.
100. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I recall reading somewhere in the companion that that's an undeclinable word.
Correct.
So it stays the same. And I remember also somewhere else in the companion, it said the same thing about mille for 1,000.
Correct.
I was just wondering if there are other numbers that come to mind that are undeclinable.
Oh boy. Yes. I had a student ask me that in email just today. Hold on, let me pop back to the PDF. Okay, let's see. I think they have.
It's just a little beyond where we were.
Okay, so we have. Okay, so we have unus, una, unum, meaning one,
Right.
and we have duo. Now, duo, first off, is always plural because it's two. Yeah, you
Right.
can't have singular two. So, but it is duo, due, duo. So duo servi, due ancile, and duo oppida. So
Right.
duo is declined. Tres is also declined. But 4 through 20 are not declined.
Okay.
So quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octem, novem, decem, undecem, duodecem, tridecem, quattrodecem, um, quindecem, sexdecem, septdecem, octdecem, and I'm blanking on 9. Octem, novem, and 19 are all indeclinable. From 20 all the way up to 99 are actually declinable. And the reason is sort of is because you take the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50, and you tack on the
numbers 1 through 9,
numbers 1 through 9. And so
and they're
there
all
are
declined.
declinable ones buried in there. And the good news is, if you remember, there's a chapter on numbers, which is coming up. I don't know. It's a ways away. So we'll talk about numbers there. But for now, uno, duo, tres, centum, and mille. Centum is not declinable or indeclinable, and mille is not declinable. Does
I'm
everybody
really
know what?
fascinated because I got the impression the only undeclinable words were foreign. I mean, foreign to Latin.
Oh, no, 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 no. Lots of indeclinable words. Well, not lots, but quite a few. So, yeah, centum, centum servi, 100 slaves. Something of 100 slaves would be centum servorum. So, let's see, what are other, I'm trying to think what other, I'm sure if I thought about it, other indeclinable words would pop into my head. But
Oh, that's helpful. Thank you.
so, any more questions? Ethan, any questions?
No.
Good. All right. So let me talk a little about the grammar. We'll start in on it. As I said, there's for nouns, nomen, nomina, casus, cases. There are 6 nominativus, which we've already had. So Fluvius, Roma, Italia, Europa, Insula, Oppidum, to which we can now add pater, mater, filius, filia, servus, ancilla, etc. And we've had the ablativus for in Italia, in Europa, where the A goes to a long A, and then in Egypto, in Oppido. So that's where we get, or we've seen that in the first chapter. Well, what we're adding now is the genitivus, or possessives. Now, it's easy to remember that genitive means possessive because if you are the progenitor of your race and you have all of these descendants, those descendants stem back from you. So, genitivus is a way of indicating that it is possessive. And the Latin possessive works pretty much the same as English, just different endings. We can say son of Julius or Julius' son. doesn't matter, both of those are expressed the same way. And then we add an AE or an autumn or an I or an autumn for those possessives. And that's all I'm going to talk about those for the moment. Was there a question? I thought I heard a question. Yes, no? Okay. Let's drift back to the first chapter and let's listen to our Italian friend do the first section.
Capitulum secundum. Familia Romana. Iulius vir Romanus est. Emilia femina Romana est. Marcus est puer Romanus. Quintus quoque puer Romanus est. Iulia est puella Romana.
Any questions on that part? Everybody understand that?
We don't really
Anybody?
roll R's like that though, do we, in Latin?
Pardon?
The way he's rolling the R, that's kind of more Italian than Latin, isn't it? Or did they do that in Latin?
No, we should roll that.
No,
Okay.
most of us do.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Now he may emphasizing a little bit, but yeah, you should say Romanas or Romanus, Marcus. There's an R roll in there. You may not hear it terribly well because I'm speaking quickly. Puer
Mhm.
on the so yeah, let's see here. Romanus
He's
est, Emilia femini Romana
the
est. So yeah, they're all rolled.
He's doing it with a kind of a Italian flair, though.
That may be, yes, and that's what it is. The Italian pronunciation is the ecclesiastical pronunciation. But you're right, he has an Italian accent on his Latin, just as we have an English or an American accent on ours. So, I mean, everybody has an accent. So,
Marcus et Quintus non viri, sed pueri sunt. Viri sunt Iulius et Medus et Davus. Emilia et Delia et Sira sunt femine. Est ne femina Iulia? Non femina, sed parva puella est Iulia.
any questions there? Okay, let's go on then.
Iulius, Emilia, Marcus, Quintus, Iulia, Sira, Davus, Delia, Medusque sunt familia Romana. Iulius pater est, Emilia est mater. Iulius pater Marci et Quinti est. Iulius pater Iulie quoque est. Emilia est mater Marci et Quinti et Iulie. Marcus filius Iulii est. Marcus filius Emilie est. Quintus quoque filius Iulii et Emilie est. Iulia est filia Iulii et Emilie. Quis est Marcus? Marcus puer Romanus est. Quis pater Marci est? Iulius pater Marci est. Quae est mater Marci? Mater Marci est Emilia. Quae est Iulia? Iulia est puella Romana. Quae mater Iulie est? Emilia mater Iulie est. Pater Iulie est Iulius. Iulia filia Iulii est. Qui sunt filii Iulii? Filii Iulii sunt Marcus et Quintus. Marcus Quintus Iuliaque sunt tres liberi. Liberi sunt filii filieque. Marcus et Quintus et Iulia sunt liberi Iulii et Emilie. In familia Iulii sunt tres liberi. duo filii et una filia. Est ne medus.
Okay. Let's go back to here. Okay, so any questions on any of that? Because we're almost
I have
close.
a quick one.
Good.
The name of the father, I've been pronouncing it with the IU separate, Iulius, and he's rolling it together like one Iulius, which is more correct.
No. It should be you, Julius.
So no, don't
Sort of like
don't
why.
differentiate the two vowels.
Yeah, well, that's not a vowel. That's a consonantal.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, in English, that's why we say Julius, because we've changed all those consonant I's to J's. But no, it'd be Julius. So the first syllable is IU, not, well, I don't think I can even break that up into two syllables.
Yeah, I was saying Iulius, but no, it's
Say it
just
again.
Iulius.
Say it again.
Iulius is what I've been
no,
saying.
no, Julius.
But it's just
Well,
Iulius
and that's
because
what he's
yeah.
saying is there's two vowels in Julius. You know, it's squished together, but there's clearly two sounds.
Yeah, Julius, but it's the same. It's consonant vowel sound, so it's smushed together.
Okay.
Not Julius or Julius but rather Julius. Just
Okay.
yeah, we say Julius, or sorry, Julius.
And isn't it really that the first I, the J, is pronounced with a Y sound, just the
Yes.
back and the throat part of the Y,
Yes.
not E, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get the U. So Julius is the IU sound.
Right. Yep.
I just took to heart the rule that every vowel was going to be pronounced.
It is, but the I
But
there,
but the first I there is
vowel.
not a vowel. It's
Yes.
a consonant.
See,
okay.
see, Teresa. Halloween is coming up, and that's where people dress up and wear different costumes. So the I here is masquerading as a J or as a consonant.
Okay.
So yeah. And for the most part, it's pretty easy to see where the I is a consonant or a consonantal vowel versus an actual vowel. Usually it's at the beginning of a word, or if it's in the middle of a word, as sometimes it is, it's because there's a prefix stuck in front of it. So the word justice in Latin is justitia. The I there is the consonant I. And if you were to say injustice, you would say in justitia. So even though that J or that I masquerading as a J, so to speak, is in the middle, it's because you stuck a prefix on it. So most common are IU sounds that have a J, but not exclusively. The word major, MAJOR, in Latin is major. Change the O to an A and you have mayor, but major. So there are some that are buried inside. So but by the way, the other thing to keep in mind is if it is very difficult to pronounce, you're probably pronouncing it wrong. Latin is very, like Italian, is very melodic. Now, there may be some sounds that are a little awkward here and there because we're not used to them. But if it's difficult to pronounce, then you probably need to step back and say, hey, is this, how is this actually pronounced? Now, there's some there's some words in Latin that have like 5 and 6 syllables, which, we can even I'll trip over those from time to time, but once you get them down, they're actually quite easy. So, anything else? Is everybody so quiet? Okay. All right, so next time, oh, did I don't think I actually did that. Oh yeah, we're not on chapter 3 yet. So just continue with this with chapter 2, do the next section. We will then move on to the Grammatica Latina. So here, let me pop this up. We got most of the way through section 2. And so okay. Alex hinted at the liber, or I should say more accurately, the short I, the liber, which is the book. And the libri, let's see, where's this used here? All right, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, no, it's near the end of the section. Yeah, see, liberi are children with a long I, and then liber, which is a short I. So if you make your short I long, you've changed all your books into children. Or if you make your long I short, you've changed all your children into books. And so we'll tackle that in the next time. So try get through section 3 and start reading into the Grammatica Latina, because that way we can begin talking about the genitivus. And that's what we'll do next week, is section 3 and the Grammatica Latina. Any questions? Yes? No? Maybe? You're a very quiet bunch.
Yes, I said that Teresa is not the only one who is
I
gardening
know, I
today.
know. Yeah, I saw that. Well, I was hoping comments from our other members who are very quiet. Sarah is on a cruise, so she's not here tonight. I chastised her for taking a cruise during class, but
Is she going on the trip with father?
pardon?
Was this
No,
around the
no,
time
no,
that
no, 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 no. Father, that's not a cruise. That is a pilgrimage that Father's doing. Something totally
I guess they're
different.
flying over. Yeah, that would be.
And
Okay,
they are
that makes
flying
sense.
over.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not sure what the dates are on that. Thought it was later in the month. Is it earlier?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was sometime in November when you
Yeah,
mentioned
but I
cruise.
thought
For
it was
some
later in
reason,
the
my
month.
brain went to Italy, and so
No, I thought it was later in the month.
I think he's doing 2 of them.
Possibly.
Yeah. No, I believe so.
Possibly. So anyway, all right. With that, I will mute everybody. We will close out. And just let me say, see, now we have pater. We haven't learned the declension. That's a third declension now. We haven't learned about that. But now you say, see, in nomine Patris et Filii. So we've picked up that one. And we picked up Dominus. And so Benedictus, you should be able to figure out. So you're slowly picking some of these up. Oh, Nostre, in the hour of our death. So Nostre here is genitive. Mortis is also genitive or possessive, just like Patris up here. Those are 2 third declension nouns, which we will get to in the not too distant future. So you're slowly picking up more grammar and words that are directly related to what our goal is namely to understand Latin prayers and liturgy. Anyway, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. And with that, that is the end of the class.